Hello everyone, welcome to Australia, welcome to Australian Book Travels, and welcome to our book recommendations, the last for the year. Well, it's not really book recommendations as we normally do it. It's more of my favourite books for 2024 before we lead into the next year. Anyway, I hope you've all had a lovely, lovely Christmas. I hope it was full of joy and happiness and laughter, good food, nice drink, and family and friends. Or if you wanted to be on your own or you had to be on your own, I hope you enjoyed it and you took care of yourself. That's important. A few things before we begin our book recommendation recap of the year. A few things happened to us over Christmas. We had Victoria here in Australia have had awful fires. In fact, there's one still raging, a massive fire in an area called the Grampians, which is west of us. It's a few hundred kilometres west of us. We have been getting the smoke from the fires, although that seems to have cleared for now. And we had a few fires in local areas around us, not very far, only a few minutes away. So that has been a little bit testing for us, a little bit challenging for Christmas, and makes you a little reflective and it's meant to be a joyous time, and then when you know that other people may be suffering or concerned or worried, that always affects me. I'm probably a bit sensitive to that, but anyway, I'm hoping that everyone is well and that nobody has suffered any great loss. I'm of the belief, although it was unconfirmed, that there was one house lost in the Grampians bushfire, but I haven't updated that for the last 24 hours, so I'm hoping that that was just a rumour and not the truth. Now, the other thing that happened to us on Christmas Day with those fires, Mark decided, it was around about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and we thought this is really dangerous, and the warning was that it could actually come from west to an easterly direction, and that we may be in the line of fire. We just didn't know. So we decided, it was really late at night, it must have been about 11 o'clock at night, or thereabouts. Our home is up on stumps, and then we have high ceilings, and then we have a really high ceiling space, so we have a high roof. And we have two lots of gutter, and we have a box gutter. So we have a gutter on the veranda, a gutter on the roof, and then a box gutter down the centre of the gables. So this, of course, in the event of bushfire, can, if the embers hit the gutters, and if there is any debris in the gutters, then it can of course set fire to your house. So we decided that one of our strategies for preventing bushfire, or in the event of bushfire, is, of course, you clean out your gutters a few times a year. And Mark bought these plugs that you put into the drain pipe, and then you fill your gutters with water. So at around about 11 o'clock at night, or whatever it was, Mark was up on the roof and putting in these plugs, because he'd forgotten earlier in the day in preparation for Christmas. So he put the plugs in, and as he was doing that, he found a frog on the edge of the gutter just looking down at him. So he picked him up, and we both, because Mark said to me, well, what should I do with this frog? Where should I put it? And I said, well, maybe pop it near the pond, which is one of the ponds near our chicken run. And as we were doing that and making sure that the little frog was safe, and that it was, we didn't put it in the pond, but we put it on a piece of log that we had on near the pond, we heard all this chirping in the chicken coop. And I thought, oh no. What had happened was, a few weeks ago, we decided to let we have a rooster, and we decided to let our hens, the eggs that, if they were fertilised and they were clucky, then the hens we let them sit on the eggs because we want more chickens. And we weren't expecting them to hatch for another week. And clearly we had our dates wrong. We we thought the girl, because the gestation or the incubation period is around about 21 or 23 days, and we couldn't quite remember when we saw them first sitting on the eggs. So we were a little bit out of date, and clearly, and the chickens were born on Christmas Day. Now there is another batch of eggs that are being sat on by another hen, so we're just waiting to see if anything comes of that. But so far we've had 4 chicks. There's 2 hens sitting on one clutch of eggs, but one of the hens has now taken control of the chicks who have hatched. But as we went in on Christmas night, as we went into the coop, there was one little chicken that was, one of the hens had been pecking at it. It was bleeding. It had just come out of the egg. It was, so it had hatched, but it was still wet. It was really disabled by this other chicken, or the hen. So we decided to take her in, and I've brought her out here to show you. She's not doing quite as well as the others. We've had to take her into the house, and we're hand watering and feeding her regularly. We're not sure he or she will survive yet, but we're giving this little chicken the best chances of survival. So sometimes she walks, other times she just closes her eyes, and there seems to be perhaps a neurological problem. I'm not too sure. Maybe if she survives in the next week, we will then take her to the vet just to check. But there is clearly something not quite right, and that's why likely either the hen has attacked the chick, or the attack on the chick has created this problem. We're not too sure. But we're looking after her. She's staying with us in the house, and we keep her on hot water bottles, and I've brought her out here in the sunlight just for a bit of fresh air, and I thought you would like to see him or her. So here she is, or he. She's got a bit of a voice on her, or him, but yeah, we're just trying to give it the best chance. So if you hear any chirping, that is because he or she is on my lap in a towel. We're wrapped in a towel with the sun beaming down on her or him. Okay, let's get on to these book recommendations. I do hope you've had a lovely Christmas. Now I'm filming this on Sunday, but I'm uploading it for you for today, Monday, so that you get it first thing in the morning. And because I have been so tired, you'll have to forgive me, but I really didn't want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So I thought I will film it today, and then, particularly if there are any problems with the internet or anything like that, I'm now finding it's better to be safer than sorry, and instead of that last minute rush on a Monday morning trying to film for you and have it uploaded, and then getting upset that I haven't uploaded it for 9 o'clock, I think I may do this a little bit more in future, that I film on a Sunday and then upload it for you on a Monday. So I hope that works for you. You still get the video on the Monday. That's the rooster. You'll still have the video on the Monday, but it just takes a little bit of pressure off me if I film it on a Sunday. So you will see this on Monday, which is the 30th, and of course we have New Year's and New Year's Eve. But we will not be filming for you on New Year's Eve or New Year's, and I do apologise for that, but sorry everyone. But I'm extremely tired. I'm exhausted, and I really want to start the year fresh for the channel so that I can come in with new ideas and not make mistakes. Now, speaking of mistakes, and this is one reason why I am going to try and make things a little easier for myself, because I think it was last week or the week before I showed you and recommended The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore, and in that recommendation I told you that this was English, and it's not. I don't know why I told you that, because I know full well it's not English. It's not. This is an American author, and it's based in America. It's based in well, it's based in New England, but I can't remember hang on everyone, I'll just get where are my glasses? Oh, I've lost my glass. Uh-oh. Hang on just everyone, I'm going to duck down and pick up my glasses. They've fallen on the ground. Hang on just 1 minute. Oh, sorry everyone, you probably saw the back of... Oh no, they've fallen over again. Sorry everyone. I'll just get these. Now it's set in New England, but I can't remember something Harbour. Dream Harbour. That's it, in Dream Harbour. It's American, and I don't know why I told you it was English. And this is probably the third or fourth mistake I've made on the channel, and I apologise each time, but actually I shouldn't be needing to apologise. So I am going to make next year a little bit easier for myself in how I work the channel, so that I'm not rushing, I'm not becoming tired and making mistakes. So apologies that I've made yet another mistake, but as I tell you, when I find that I have made a mistake, or if I am wrong in something I tell you, I try to rectify that by apologising or giving you the correct information, and that's what I'm doing today. So yes, this is an American with an American author. Have no idea why I told you it was English, but it is lovely. It's cozy. It's a romance. It's a little bit naughty in places, but it's contemporary, and it's lovely. And I recommend it. And with Laurie Gilmore, she has the other books, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore and the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. They're all in the same town, so you have bits of the Pumpkin Spice Cafe in the Christmas Tree Farm, and you have the residents and the people that we've seen in the other books in this one. So I recommend it. It's really good. But anyway, I do apologise. I made a mistake, and I'm hoping that next year will be mistake-free. Likely not, because I am human, but I want to try and limit those mistakes as much as possible. Now, I was asked to show you all my favourite books for this year, that I've read this year. And I was thinking about that, and I thought, do I make it my favourite Australian books, or my favourite books thus far, no matter where they're written or who they're written by? Do I make it a particular genre, or what do I do? And when I had a look through my bookshelf to decide to recognise the books that I had read this year, and decide what my favourites were, as I was pulling them out of the shelf, I was pulling out every book that I have read this year, which shows you that, and it showed me, I guess, that apart from one or two books that I didn't particularly overly enjoy, I enjoyed them, but they weren't my favourite, and I probably wouldn't read from that author again, perhaps, or perhaps I would if it were written in a different way. But there's probably only one or two of books that I really didn't like as much as the rest. But the other books that I have read this year, I have to say they're all wonderful. They've all been brilliant in one way or another. They have given me laughter or joy. They've made me reflective. They've resonated with me in some way. So even though the stories have been different, and the authors have been different, and there have been, I have gone outside my comfort zone, all of the books, apart from one or two, I have thoroughly enjoyed. And I thought, well, I can't give you all of those. We would be here all day. As it is, I chat enough. So I really had to limit. I put the blinkers on, and I decided that it would have to be 10 books only, and that I show you today, that we just recap, and I'll tell you why I thoroughly enjoyed them. So here we go. Earlier in the year, I read The Offing by Benjamin Myers. This is a a coming of age and so much more. It is about friendship, about compassion of other people. It takes us into another time. So I think it was set in the 1920s from memory, but certainly another time in England, where a young boy, I think he's about 16, he takes himself off in the holidays on a walking jaunt and finds himself by the sea. He meets an elderly lady, and thus begins a friendship, an enduring friendship. But this was beautiful. It touched my heart, my soul. I think it is one of the books that I can genuinely say made a difference in my life and changed me. And it's an absolutely beautiful story, and I recommend it. It is set in England. Oh, hang on. It's after the Second World War. So it's in the 40s. This one, set in the 40s. The 1940s, but definitely one that I recommend. It reminds me very much of what's the one I'm trying to think of? Laurie Lee, his childhood memoir. This isn't a memoir. This is fiction, but it just left that same feeling that when I finished this novel, I was uplifted, I was reflective. It was beautiful. It's a really beautiful story, and I love it. So I recommend this one, and not only recommend it, but it is one of my top 10. The next one is Tan Tuan Eng's The House of Doors. Absolutely beautiful. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It is set in the 1920s in Malaysia. It is where was it exactly? Kuala Lumpur. Well, it's not set. Part of it is set in Kuala Lumpur. The real story, or the main story, is set in Penang. But it's absolutely beautiful. It is Penang, isn't it? I just want to make sure, because I haven't touched these books since I read them earlier this year. But I have recommended all of these books to you in past book recommendations. So if you want to go back to those book recommendations to get a little bit more detail, then I recommend you do. But at the moment, just off the top of my head, I'm sure it was the main story set in Penang, but there is a tragedy that happens in Kuala Lumpur, and it affects the people. It affects our characters. This was absolutely beautiful. Again, made me really think about life, and has changed. When I say change my life, I feel pleased that I've read it. I'm glad I have this book in my life. It was beautiful. So I recommend that. And I think Queen Camilla had this in her... They read it in the Queen's reading room. It was part of their book club. And she also interviewed the author, I believe. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. I loved it. Oh, this one was so good. This is, again, it is English. This is Miss Benson's Beetle by Rachel Joyce. This was witty. I laughed and laughed, although through the book you could see that it was... Sorry, everyone, I'm getting hair in my face. You could see that there was more meaning and depth behind the characters and behind the story. This is about companions. It's about being compassionate of other people who are not the same as you. It's also a story about how things go wrong, and how we are sometimes the authors of our own problems many times. But yes, this I absolutely enjoyed. It was sad as well. There is sadness in here, but it's a beautiful sadness, if that makes sense. But overall, funny, absolutely, in some cases hilarious, outlandish, and well written. Absolutely beautiful. That's Rachel Joyce, Miss Benson's Beetle. I recommend it. English. Australian author, The Cryptic Clue. This is Amanda Hampson's. This is a follow-up from the first last year, the Tea Lady, the last year or the year before, the first in this series, which is The Tea Ladies. This one's The Cryptic Clue. Absolutely brilliant. It's set in Sydney in the 1950s and 60s, I think, from memory. Absolutely funny. Some of the characters are real rogues, and but really funny. And it's a mystery and a murder mystery, but there are multiple mysteries with these 4 tea ladies. There are multiple mysteries within their story as well, but overall it is also a murder mystery. Absolutely brilliant. I loved it. And Amanda has a new one out. I think it's in April next year. I think it's April. I'll definitely be getting that and adding that to the 2 that I already have. It's brilliant, and I hope Amanda continues the series, because it really is that sort of Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club, a little bit of that mixed in with maybe not quite Midsummer Murders, but that sort of feel to it, even though it is Australian and set in Sydney. I loved it, absolutely loved it. Right, Fremantle Press released this, and I did a recommendation on it this year, The Worsoner's Tale by Robert Eidson. Absolutely brilliant. It goes back to the 1300s in England. We start off in Perth, Australia. Our characters start off there, and then they lead us into, or they take us to England. It is a little bit woven into the story, is the Canterbury Tales by Chaucer. Really intelligent read. One of the only novels, murder mysteries, fiction murder mysteries that I have read where there are multiple footnotes. Absolutely unbelievable. Very intelligent writer, very intelligent story. I loved it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, Mary Lou Stevens, The Chocolate Factory, about Cadbury's chocolate factory in Tasmania, but there's a love story in there as well. This I loved, absolutely loved. I know that she has a new one coming out called The Jam Factory, also based in Tasmania. Oh, sorry everyone, that's the train. We are about a kilometre or so from the rail line, and we love hearing the trains, but you may hear it and think, what's that? But it's just the tooting of the train. So yes, The Chocolate Factory was absolutely brilliant, and along with it came a bookmark, which has just fallen out. But I recommend this one. And this also, it's based in the 1920s. Because I lived in Tasmania, I understood and recognised some of the places that were discussed in here. So that resonated with me well. But I enjoyed it. It was well written. It's a beautiful story, and I recommend it. There's 10 I have here. As I say, all of the books that I read this year, apart from 1 or 2, I thoroughly enjoyed. They all changed my life in some way, or resonated with me, or I just thoroughly enjoyed them and had a good laugh or a good cry. But these I've had to choose as my top 10, and they are, I guess, my top 10 really. I love them. They're really good books. Tanya Blanchard, you all know that I went to her launch of An Undeniable Voice. I read this. It's a standalone, but it really follows on from her first about her character Hannah, which was a woman of courage. This continues on, but you can read it on its own. I recommend it. It's beautiful, well written, very well researched. And of course, I met Tanya, and she is a beautiful person, which makes all the difference when you're reading novels. You tend to know a little bit more, understand a little bit more where the author's coming from. And also, I found out why she wrote these novels. So, and the story behind the covers of the books as well. So I think it's always worth meeting the author, and particularly at a book launch where they're talking about the book and the stories behind it, and the catalyst that began their journey of writing their novels. But this is absolutely beautiful, so I recommend that. Darry Fraser, another Australian, The Milliner of Bendigo. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was a great read. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this. I hadn't read Darry Fraser before, but it took this novel has taken me on an adventure of reading her other books. And as you know, The Night on the Darling River, I think the other title was, that she released this year, that was absolutely brilliant. But I think I love this more. You know, if push comes to shove and I have to choose, I've chosen The Milliner of Bendigo, probably because we live near Bendigo too. It tended to have a bit more of an emotional string attached to me, but I really enjoyed it. Bit of a love story, a bit of shenanigans, bit of underhandedness going on in that. It was fantastic. Now, sorry everyone. Now, this next one, I would have to say, really ranks up against, as a contemporary to Charles Dickens' Great Expectations, in terms of how much I enjoyed it and how much it made me think about things, life, and the subjects that were included in this novel. And that is The Story Thief by Kira Geddes, her debut novel this year. This is absolutely beautiful, beautifully written once again, Australian. It's into the story of Henry Lawson, and one of his writings is woven into this story. The characters were beautiful. In fact, in all of these novels, I really warmed to the characters and enjoyed reading about them. I was eager to get back to the novel. If I had to do something outside, or I was interrupted for some reason, I was eager to get back to these novels. But this would have to be, I don't think I would be fibbing if I said it'd have to be, well, it's probably in the top 5. It has to be. It absolutely has to be. I don't want to undermine any of the others because they've all been wonderful, but this really, truly was a beautiful read. And if you haven't read it, I recommend you do. It was beautiful, beautifully written. Again, I met Kira. I understood this was researched extremely well. I think Kira said that it took her... Overall, it took her 10 years to research and write. Again, it was instigated by family story. But yeah, this is about mother-daughter relationships, about being true to yourself, allowing other people to be true to themselves. It's beautiful. In my top 5, if I'm being brutally honest, it's probably my top absolutely this year. And as I say, I do equate it with, I put it up there with Great Expectations. I think if in my lifetime I have to choose just 5, this is going to be, for my whole lifetime, I think this is definitely going to be one, along with Great Expectations and Pride and Prejudice, I think. Okay, so more recently, you all know Tess Wood's The Venice Hotel, absolutely brilliant. This is about all sorts of things, domestic violence, it's about women's sisterhood, being true again to yourself and enjoying what you do in life. There is it's a bit of a thriller as well, which I think I failed to mention last time, but there is it is a thriller, but personally I wouldn't call it a thriller. It's so much more than that. This was brilliant as well. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Australian writer. There are Australian characters in it, but of course it's based in Venice. So Australian, number 2, number 3 is Australian, number 4, Australian, 5, Australian, 6, Australian, 7, Australian. Now, that is not deliberate. It is just that these books and the 3 books here written by non-Australians, they are definitely they have to be my top 10. As I say, all of the books I read this year, apart from 1 or 2, I've enjoyed anyway, but I thought for the sake of filming today, I would just choose my top 10, and they are my top 10. I absolutely love them. I really enjoyed it. So if you haven't read any of them, by all means, I recommend you do. Anyway, we have a little one here. You probably can hear him or her screeching there. It's probably time for a little bit of food. I hope, as I say, we won't be having a video for New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. I am going to start taking, not a break, I am working over this period. There will be book recommendations every Monday and travel videos on a Saturday. But this year I'm going to work the channel in a way that doesn't make me stressed or feel so that it doesn't tire me out. But at Christmas always does. At the end of the year, I think we all feel that way, don't we? You feel really tired and, things have gone on and you just, even though it's only another day, New Year's Day tends to bring about a feeling of refresh, reworking, redoing. I know it's psychological, but it doesn't hurt, does it, to have that that ability to say, right, well, today's a new day, a new year, and I'm going to start fresh. So that's it, everyone. I think I've told you the story about the frog and about our little chicken here. Well, hopefully he or she survives. We'll do the best we can. It has been hot, of course. We have had fires. And I think we'll just, this new year, I'm really looking forward to showing you some different places and working things on the channel that involve you a little bit more, maybe not a lot more, but a little bit more, as best as we can through a camera. Sorry, I thought she was going to fall off then. So we're going to try and involve you a lot more, and also we have, of course, Fremantle Press and HarperCollins Australia. I will be reading a lot of their advanced readers copies, so I will be bringing those to you at the appropriate time. So it's looking like a good year, everyone. I'm hoping that we can grow the channel a lot more. Please do, if you haven't already, please subscribe. It doesn't cost any money. It's just a press of a couple of buttons. And then you get notifications and that when a video goes up on the channel, and then it does help us. And please, we really do love your comments. If you do like any video on the channel, press the like button. And if you want to make a comment or you want to get in contact, just make a comment. I always respond. Normally within 24 hours. I do my best even to get back to you quicker than that, but definitely within 48 hours. I don't think I've ever gone longer than 48 hours in responding to anyone. So if you want to know more, or you want to make a comment, or you have some news to impart, we would appreciate that. We love connecting with you, and a lot of you do already, and I love it. Mark and I often talk about all of you and what you say and the information you've given us. It's lovely. We really enjoy it. So please keep in contact. We really do. It's become part of our life now, so we really enjoy it. And I hope that we've become a little bit a part of your life. That's what it's all about. It's about having community and enjoying what we do. So that's it, everyone. I apologise for the rooster and the train, and although they're not in my control, but I did think it was nicer after Christmas being inside, and because it's been so hot, we did have to stay inside. But of course, you have visitors, and so you tend to be inside a lot more. And I thought, look, I need a bit of fresh air too, so I've come out into the shade house to film for you. Okay, well, I hope to see you, if not the next travel video, then definitely the next book recommendation, which is on Monday week. So today for you is the 30th, so what will it be, the 7th or 6th or something that I see you? No, the travel video is on Saturday, so that will be, what's that, the 5th or something. And then the following Monday is the book recommendation. So I hope to see you then. Happy New Year, everyone. Enjoy. Take care on the road if you're travelling. It is a crazy time of year. Please be careful if you're drinking. Have a designated driver. That's really important. Don't drink and drive. It's not worth it. You know, your life can change in a split second. So if you are drinking, please don't drive. And if you are on the road, please travel safe and enjoy your reading in the next few days, or until I see you on Saturday. Yeah, I think that's it, everyone. I'm going to say goodbye. I am a little tired, I have to be honest. I think I just need the next few days to... We've had visitors. We had family overnight, which is lovely. We absolutely loved it and enjoyed it. But along with it being tired at the end of the year, we were all saying, you know, we were all really tired. So it'll be nice just to have the next few days, I think, just to relax. And I will be working on the channel, but it will be at my own pace. So I can, you know, work on it and then work on the editing and then leave it when I need to. So yeah, okay everyone, enjoy. We will see you next year, because the next travel video is next year. And take care, look after yourself. Happy reading, safe travels. Bye for now.